Welcome to Welcome to Business Success Tips, where we can learn to make more money in less time and have more fun. And it's not any good unless you're having more fun. I'm the founder of Contractor Staffing Source, where we help contractors build great teams. My name is Paul Sanneman. My guest is Ryan Groth from Sales Transformation Group. And Ryan, can you tell them a little about what you do and why they should listen to you and why you're so smart?
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you having me. Yeah, so we're a sales transformation group. We're a sales training and coaching platform that helps contractors who are like owners who are struggling, wearing all the hats, doing everything all the time, underperforming, leaving a lot of money on the table, and help them break through that glass ceiling by helping build a professional sales process and a sales team. We've worked with over 650 companies over the last 6 years, and we've helped people grow dramatically, not just with their revenues, but their life and their life improving as a result of professionally building a sales team. And when you do that in this industry, amongst others who are afraid to do that or don't know how to do that, you can certainly start to separate yourself quickly and just grow as an organization. So we love what we do, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
Right. I mean, I often tell people, I mentioned earlier, that any successful company in the US is usually a sales and marketing company that funds their sales and marketing with some kind of product or service, right? But that's something that a lot of contractors do not get. They go, no, I'm a construction company, or I'm a home builder, or I'm whatever they are. And I'm like them, I do a great job. The phone rings, I'm good. And I go, I don't think so. So tell me a little bit about, how do you go about building a sales and marketing process? And also I want to define a little bit. I call sales everything that happens after the phone rings, and everything before the phone rings is marketing. So do you do both, or just worry about once the phone rings?
We primarily focus on the sales process and the people involved in the selling. So I do believe in marketing. I'm a huge believer in brand and digital acquisition. Website needs to be solid. Trucks need to be wrapped. People need to be professionally branded with their attire and their work. All that super important, right? Relationships and sponsorships with your local community, all those things. However, you can spend a lot of time and money doing that, and either the owner is wearing all the hats, having to run all those leads, don't follow up on deals, stuff's not tracked in the CRM properly, you have no record, it's a mess, you can't call people back, you're leaving millions of dollars on the table. Or you have salespeople that you brought in, probably your brother-in-law, your uncle, your friend from high school who's selling. They've not been trained by you. You just brought them on because you trust them and they're a good person. And they do not know what they're doing. And they let leads slip through the cracks. They're not following up. They're not closing them. And you find yourself just not knowing what to do. And also what they don't do is they don't prospect, they don't hunt, they don't generate their own referrals, and they don't prospect and go out there. And that's what salespeople do. Good salespeople is they know how to hunt. They know how to work.
But can you define now, we have an assessment. One of the things we say, are you a hunter or are you a farmer? Can you explain the difference between a hunter and a farmer who's a salesperson?
So a farmer would be, especially like in a B2B space, just somebody who waits, is like more of an order taker and a relationship manager. They just say, okay, cool, how are you doing? I'm doing good. Hey, I have something for you. And it required very little work, but it did require some attention. Like the farmers are good, they're important. They need to nurture what's already there. And when they do that, things happen. It's great. But you're going to grow only ever so slowly when you do that. And you're not going to break through and go to a new level. If you want to do that, you need hunters. And so hunters are people who know how to go find new business. So new customers, new projects, new accounts, new markets, and they know how to close. They ask tougher questions. They ask harder questions. They get with the decision makers. They sell value. They're more persuasive. They're usually a little bit more dynamic, and they're more motivated by money. Probably they're more commission oriented people. They like to bag the big game. They're the warriors in the Indian tribe that are just like, look what we brought, and they brought back the bacon for everybody to feast off of. That's a hunter, and I think that's that that if you don't make space for people in your organization, you're not probably a high growth organization. And when I say high growth, I don't mean grow where you can't do the work. I don't mean grow where it becomes a chaotic mess. I'm saying breaking through, right? Getting to 10, getting to 15 million, getting to 20 million, getting beyond that. You need hunters. And you as an owner might be thinking, man, I am that hunter. Great. That's fine. But you can also bring on those types of people too. So new business talent, people who can bring on new customers.
So how do you identify a hunter?
We personally, you know, I say personally, we as an organization, we use an assessment that's a third-party sales aptitude assessment. Objective Management Group is the company. It's specifically designed for sales companies, helping develop sales teams. So we use that. That helps identify those skills and attributes. But you know, at the end of the day, how quickly can they build a relationship? Do they have a track record of being able to establish and create transactions quickly? Are they aggressive? Do they have big goals, big ambitions? You know, those are a few things you can certainly interview for, but it helps to have some sort of an objective assessment as well.
Okay.
Also, do they have a history of pounding the phone, pounding the pavement, knocking doors? I think when you ask somebody who's never knocked doors, never done a high volume of calls, never faced a ton of rejection, never had to secure their identity and their value so strongly because of all the rejection and their sales role, you know, then they're probably going to really struggle when it comes to getting out there. But if you have somebody who's, oh yeah, I've knocked this many doors a day, I've walked in, done networking, I'm used to eating only what I've found to kill, they have a high tolerance for the pain and the challenges that come with it. But you know, at the end of the day, like a muscle, like anything, when you put it under stress so long, it rises the occasion and it can handle it. And so that's really what we're looking for is people with a track record of having to seek out business or seek out a way for people to follow them or get on board with what they're doing quickly at a high volume and have the strength.
Now, is it important that they have construction experience or not?
No.
So
Yeah, you can have a construction experience person, you know, no construction all day long, but they're not doing the activities, right? That hunters need to do. I'd rather have somebody do the activities and learn construction as they go than somebody who knows construction, but is hit or miss on the activities.
Okay. So how do you train a salesperson once I mean, you build sales organizations, obviously. So let's say you find the people, how do you build that sales organization within a small residential construction company?
Yeah, first thing you need is a sales process. Super simple. We have one called baseline selling we teach. It's a sales methodology. But I like to ask people, what's the best CRM on the market? The one that you use, right? Well, what's the best sales methodology in the market? The one that you use. Like drink the juice. Like this is our sales philosophy. This is why we do what we do. This is the important, like people need to know that. And you need to have a belief and conviction around that. We have one and we teach that and we implement that. That's key. So how do you do that? You start with the sales process. You also need a sales plan. What are we going to get to?
Give me an example of a sales process that you would use. Just, you know, step 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing.
Sure. So first one would be, you know, identify the problem or the need, and then ask a few questions about where it came from. So they're talking, you're not just talking about the product and the solution. So you get them to talk. It's question based. Next thing you do when you set expectations, you try to get both homeowners at the house during the first appointment if possible. So we like to ask by saying, who else cares about this instead of who's the real decision maker here. You know, we're not trying to create a territorial conversation, but an inclusive conversation around, you know, helping solve a problem or making their dreams come true, whatever it may be that you're selling. Like selling a new roof or fixing an AC is a little different than a nice deck on the outside or a pool, right? Those are different types of sale. So at the end of the day, you do that. And then when you have the consultation, what we want to do is ask questions. Like we want to know the why. We want to know what their personal reason is that they want to do something. We want to get to know them. We want to connect. We don't want to just what I like to call show up and throw up, you know, spray and pray. Like, here you go. Here's a quote. We want to create some tension and pull out polarity and have some sort of a leverage point in the conversation that is also relational in nature. So you do that by, asking good questions and thoughtful questions and being a consultative salesperson. But the thing is, when you're spending the time to do that and you have salespeople doing that, you can't be a low bid, low price shop, right? You can't. You have to sell
Right.
value. So in order to do that, you also need to create the value. And you do that by also kind of understanding the personal financial consequence if they don't do anything, what those emotional consequences are, actually asking them, getting them to share that, finding out their commitment level.
Well, let's say, I mean, a roof seems sort of boring to me. So how do you sell a roof? Like, oh my, the roof's going to collapse and leak on you, leak, or how do you get people emotionally excited about putting on a roof?
They're not going to buy because they're excited. They're going to buy because they're afraid and frustrated. That's different than like selling the pool or the big deck when they're going to have big parties. And like, those are two different things, right? So you kind of go to the dentist because you have to, not because you want to. Selling a roof is like that, where, selling the patio, the pool, or is more like an outcome-based dream state sale, right? So, you got to know what you're selling. And it's definitely sales is basically the ability to have a current agitated state and a desired state, and being able to create a gap and then finding out what their emotional reasons are to fix the compelling reasons to fix that, to close that gap. So whether I'm selling timeshare, car, whatever it may be, I just want to create polarity with current agitated state and desired state. So if I'm leaking, I'm going to have to pay more for drywall fixtures, and there's pain, or if I don't file the insurance claim or don't do this or that, or the whatever the consequences are of my current state is going to move me to a desired state. So that's really it. So that's what we teach. We teach a mindset around knowing how to
Basically, you have to define the agitated state, whether it's my roof's going to leak, or I'm not having the parties I want to have, or my wife yells at me because we've got another bedroom for the kid, or whatever it is. So something emotionally
we don't fix
agitated.
the AC by this summer, she's gonna kill me. Or,
Right.
if we don't do this, that's gonna leak in my kid's room. Or, man, I swear, if we don't paint this house and get out of the 70s yellow, I'm gonna like whatever, right? It's the
So it's some
agitation.
kind, now let's say the agitation, Ryan, is emotional, right? It's not
Yep.
intellectual. It's like it feels bad, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because again, you sell on emotion, you don't sell on intellect, right? So you got to find what feels bad for them, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's fear or missing out. There's some kind of feeling they don't want to have. And
Yep.
then you have some feeling they do want to have, which is satisfaction or safety, or some kind of peace of mind, or some
Mm-hmm.
kind of, happy, like a great, I'm going to be, when my roof's done, I'm not going to worry about leaking anymore. When the patios are going to have these great parties, my wife's going to be my best friend. So
Mm-hmm.
you've got the emotional agitated state, the emotional, I'm going to call it blissful state, for lack of a better term, right?
Yep. Yep.
And there's a gap, right?
Yep.
So you got to define both of those. And then I guess then you're the solution that brings from A to B. How's that work?
Yeah, so you know how like you and I are looking at Zoom together, right? Right now.
Right,
See my frame, and it has like yellow around it because it's highlighting its Zoom. And
right.
what I'm doing is I'm just kind of taking a conversation. I'm going to carve out this one. I'm going to go ahead and set this one. I'm going to go ahead and create this one, and be on the same page with this one, right? So I create this frame, current state, create this desired state here. I'm fully in but who's in the picture now?
You, right in the middle, smiling face, right?
It's me, I'm your guy, right?
Right.
So because you and I had a conversation about this situation that you care about as a prospect, as a prospect cares about, because you're the person that helps shape that, who's naturally the one that they think is in the frame? It's you, because you
Right.
know them and nobody else took the time to do that. You hear them and nobody else took the time to hear them. You understand them because nobody else took the time to understand them. That makes you naturally the person they believe can do it, because now you've heard them when nobody else has heard them. Right? The person who says, okay, cool, I'll take a look. You don't have to be home. Don't worry about it. Just make sure I have access. Oh, your babysitter's there. No worries. I'll just get up there. Cool. I'll just shoot you a price. Right? That's fine. But like, you can't sell value or scale a sales team doing that.
Right.
You can't. You have to have a sales process with a sales philosophy that people can understand, they can execute on, that you coach to, and therefore you have more of your ideal clients who paid more to work with you. You have neighborhoods in which you have your sign in the yard. You had this, you had the review. Then you generate this beautiful thing called a referral. and you ask for referrals, and you ask the neighbors, you get the introductions, you knock the neighborhood, you create the honey hole, and now you basically have this momentum that you've created that's like a wave in your favor. You're just riding it. And whether you're selling roofing, HVAC, whatever it may be, the salesperson did that. Okay. That is what we want to teach, is empowering the sales team to know how to do this process with the one, and then create momentum in the organization. And if you have multiple products and services with the same account, then that's great. Now you have an account. You didn't just sell a job. You have an account now, and you can extend the account value. And so there's just, it's exciting when salespeople are empowered and they're compensated accordingly, and there's management and making sure it's happening, and some sort of like leaderboards and tracking. When that stuff starts to happen, it's beautiful. Now you have a sales organization over time. And obviously you can get really specific, but you need to have structure the comp plans. You need to track stuff and care about that tracking and look at it, coach them to it, hold a standard, lead them, and empower them, and get out of your own way. Like, let the salespeople go fail a few times and coach them up. Like, no one's going to be as good as you, dude. You're the owner. No one's going to be sell like you. You're the owner. Like, so just let the people play the game and coach them up, right? That's another thing we got to really help people with.
Okay. So I've been a coach for many, many years, 40 years actually, or more than that. And I would find very few of the thousands, literally, I've worked with a couple thousand contractors that actually have a sales team. They have a sales guy, the owner sells, but they very rarely have a sales team. So how do you convince you're a sales guy, right? Convince the contractor who said, well, I do the selling. I've heard that a lot. Yeah, I'm the sales guy. I do that. Or we have a good website and the phone rings, we're good. I've got a couple companies, but the idea of building a sales team, I think it's an awesome idea, but I find probably a lot of contractors listening to this where I'm not big enough, I can't afford it. I can hear I'm sure you've heard all these objections, right? So Ryan, how do you deal with, well, I'm not big enough for sales team. I can't.
Well, I guess the question, Paul, let me ask you, when you think sales team, define what, when you're head, how big of that team are you?
At least one person full-time focusing on nothing but sales. That's my definition of a sales team.
There you go. That's at least one. So my question would be, do you want to have a mom and pop shop your entire life and be selling until you're 70, and you have a nice high paying job? That's fine. Or do you want to build a company that the company runs, and you've developed the business, and you have the freedom and time to do something else, or do something more, or put more time into the growing the company? Like, what are you? Are you a contractor who does everything, or are you a business person that happens to own a contracting business? And do you want to imagine life outside of running 3 appointments a day and not taking enough vacation? Like, do you want that? Well, yeah. Okay. Well, something has to change. What got you here won't get you there. It's not going to magically change. You have to do something different. So imagine a life where you have salespeople who believe they're a professional. They actually believe they're a professional salesperson. Like, you've trained them, you've invested in training. Sure, it's going to cost you money. Sure, it's going to cost you time. But what happens if they're on mission, know your core values, know where you're going, they're accountable, they feel like they're professional, they can achieve their personal goals within your company? Yeah, you may make less money. You may make less money at first. But what if you had more time with your kids? What if you were able to sleep and enjoy and go hang out with your church a little bit more? What if you were able to take a few more trips? What if you're able to have a life outside of drinking and sleeping and eating your business every second of the day, which I have done, and it happens? We want that. Like, that's a dream state, but it's hard to even believe it's possible because they've been ingrained in this state forever. So you have to ask the question, do you want to have a company and you own, that's an asset, that's valuable, that's even sellable, that somebody would, or do you just love doing this so bad that you don't want to do anything else? I think we all know the answer.
There's a good question here. The difference between owning a company, in my opinion, and owning a job is if you can leave and things don't change, you own a company. if you can leave and things do change in a negative way, you own a job.
Yeah. Great way to
And I
summarize
think
that.
at first, most people listening to this probably own a job. Because if they decide to leave the company for 2 months to go spend 2 or 3 months in Europe, the company would not continue to do well.
Amen.
So, so once you find these people, okay, you find these, you train them. Do you become the sale? I'm trying to get an idea that sort of the exactly how you work. You become the sales manager, you manage a person, you just train the person, let them do their thing. Because where are you like a fractional sales? I know a CMO is fractional sales marketing. If there's a fractional, sales manager or something, do you like train them and keep them going, or do you like say, here's the guy, here's what he should do, have a good day? How does your process work?
Yeah, we have a few different programs. We have if they have an existing sales manager, we have a sales manager peer group where we help them stay on track and look at their numbers and discuss challenges and assign action items, and a coach is moving them forward. And that could be that could be an owner or a W-2 sales director, sales manager. Okay. So you have that. But at the end of the day, like once you have, you're probably as an owner, you need to either be trained to be a sales manager because you probably suck at it. Let's be honest. Like you're not holding them accountable. You're not doing ride-alongs. You're not making sure they're connected. You don't know their why. You don't know you're not even barely tracking commissions very well. You're scrambling to do, you're a mess, right? So you need help managing them and getting them up to speed. You need patience. Like no one's going to just snap out of the box and, come out of the box when you hire them and just be this absolute god of a salesperson. Like that's just, you got to be real. Like this is a sport that they don't know. They may be okay with. They may have some old habits. We got to kind of get them leveled up. You need guidance to help them figure that out. Let's do it. Cool. Got it. 6 months in, great. They're really starting to hit their stride. Cool. So you got that. Either plug into the sales leader peer group, or we do our fractional sales manager program, and we have our coaches do a lot of accountability with you. But ideal state is that you have a leadership team. You have somebody over operations and production. You have somebody over finance, and have somebody over marketing and sales. And that sales marketing manager has goals, and they're accountable to those goals, and they run a sales organization, right? And then you as the owner are doing different things that you're maybe great at. But that's the dream state. That's the ideal state. And I think that's very achievable if you do it right.
So I was in that corner. Now I'm up in this corner looking at you.
Yes, you are.
And your face is right in my, I'm ready to hire you, dude. You're in.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. Yeah.
So that's all good. So I like the fractional, is it actually called fractional sales manager? That's a great position. I like that. That actually something you do?
Yeah, it is. It's our highest tier program. We come on site actually monthly and do an in-person training and visit, because when you're starting to connect on that level and you don't have you need to be close up proximity and look these salespeople in the eye and know their culture and see how they're engaging the team, and do ride-alongs and training and coaching and have a relationship. So you have that, and then we also do virtual sales meetings weekly, and then we do some private coaching along with access to our whole video training platform.
Okay. So this sounds like something every contractor I know should do, because when I know most of the contractors, when I say you're a sales and marketing organizations that funds the sales and marketing with your product or service, they go, duh. It's not a concept they actually understand, right? Yet when I think about, what is Nike? It's a sales organization. They're all sales organizations. That Amazon's a damn sales organization. They fund their sales with some kind of product or service, but they're very clear that's what they are.
Good.
And unfortunately, a lot of contractors think I'm a contractor first, and sales and marketing is something that I have to do, like go to the dentist, but I'm not a big fan, right?
Here's think about this. Why does somebody who's been an entrepreneur in another industry suddenly come into your market and spin up and build like an absolute monster in no time? And you've been doing this.
I use the example, people go, I can't find anybody. I go, okay, let's say you're in, Bodunk, Kansas or someplace, and, your retailer can't find the employees, are not hard to find, just, having a terrible time. And then Walmart moves in. Somehow they 400 people that showed up from somewhere, right? They build this huge Walmart, and they're like a vacuum cleaner, and they suck all the business out of the downtown. And you go, where do they find the people? They just had the systems, dude. I mean, come on, right?
Yeah.
I talked to a guy the other day, interesting story. He's a venture capitalist and he does a lot of stuff. He says, hey, I'm telling you, my next business is roofing. And I go, roofing? He goes, yeah, I'm going to a place somewhere in the middle of the country. He says, the old guys have no clue. They've been there forever. They use old antiquated stuff. The new guys are two guys in a truck. They have no clue how to actually get roofing to work. I can own the roofing market in this state in 4 years.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. I love that. It's exciting.
And I went, I get it, because you've got, you're using a backhoe and they're using a shovel. Guess who's going to win, right?
Yep.
It's no contest. Cool. So, Ryan, if people want to get in touch with you, do you have like a discovery call? Do you work with people to talk about what they do and don't do, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to salestransformationgroup.com, just go to the contact us and set up a sales and recruiting analysis. I don't do the selling. How about that? So
All right.
I don't do it.
Now I got it back, Doctor, because I'm still selling. So, dude, you're ahead of me. So I got to talk to you.
Come on, Paul. We got to work on it. You'll you speak with one of our growth consultants, and they're going to be digging in to asking you questions about your company, your state, current desired state, all those things. And we'll offer what we think is the best pathway forward, and invite you to partner with us if we feel like you're the right person and you're committed, right? We don't really like people who are going to jump on the call and be like on the fence. Like, are you ready to change? Yes, we're going to help you. Because if we could sign you up and convince you, but if you don't do the work, you're going to feel frustrated with us or yourself, right? So It's going to be a collaboration anyway. All that said, you go there. You can also follow me on Instagram at The Sales Athlete is my Instagram handle, The Sales Athlete. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, Ryan Groth. I got a little tie on right now, although I change my headshot like every 5 months anyway. But
there we go.
Cool. So you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm also sharing content. I'm active every day on all those social platforms. So we hope to see you around.
Cool. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate you being here. And I would say anybody, if you don't have a sales team, and I'm guessing that 90% of the listen to this podcast do not calling Ryan is just not smart. At least look at that option, because it's probably the best option you got. But you sort of don't know what you don't know. So definitely give Ryan a call, and you can at least find out what you don't know.
Appreciate that, Paul.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.